25 league crowns for them. And during that time, Real haven't won the league crown at all in Spain. Change of coach during the summer. Carlo Ancelotti dispatched after a second-place finish last season, and Rafa Benitez brought in. Ancelotti being sized up by a lot of MLS clubs at the moment, apparently, but no doubt he'll pop up somewhere big very soon. Played wide for La. Very easy cut out in the end for Sergio Ramos. Disappointment at having finished third the season before last, obviously tempered by lifting La Decima, the 10th Champions League crown. Lucas Vazquez, who's just come up from the B team, Real Madrid Castilla, and his manager there, Zinedine Zidane, is Isco. To calm things down, Real did have a C team, and quite a few of their Champions League squad, the youngsters that are brought in to bolster things up, had featured for them, and quite a few of their squad tonight have also, at one time or another, played for Real Madrid C, but that team wound up during the summer, and they've been in existence since 1950. Had been known as Real Madrid Amateurs for quite a while, set up by fans of the club and brought into the club then around 25 years ago. Money-saving exercise. Even Real are tightening their belts now. Long by Pepe, too long.
Yeah, I think they'll look for that ball though. Lucas Vazquez, extremely quick, really lightning pace. The likes of him out there this evening, that is a ball that can work for them. As I've said, the quality of the opposition might just pick it off a little bit simpler than others, but he is really quick, and they will look for that ball across the back.
Alaba. It's one of the forward changes tonight. Joshua Kimmich, who went off very early as a result of the challenge of Nigel de Jong last night, went off 20 minutes in, and there was that tunnel bust-up between de Jong and Pep Guardiola, which we showed you last night, and obviously you'll have read a lot more about today. Well, Kimmich has been given the all-clear. He's not involved in any capacity tonight. He's been told by club doctors to rest. They hope he'll be okay for the cup game away at Nottingham the weekend to get the competitive season underway properly for Bayern, but he will probably miss it. He's been told to miss training for a couple of days, the new signing from Stuttgart.
Well, I think it's fair to say we have seen one or two robust challenges in the game so far, but generally speaking, I think there seems to be a little bit of a pact between the players to keep things very simple if they can.
Dani Carvajal putting the foot down, centered for Isco. Couldn't find a way through. Casemiro with the tee up, and what a fine strike that was from 30 yards. Toni Kroos back in his old stomping ground and almost marking with a goal.
Yeah, good strike, good piece of play. Nice burst down the right-hand side, Carvajal. Kroos a little bit wide. I think it's got well covered there by Neuer. We just go back to that little conversation we're having about tackling. I think you can actually see, we've seen on one or two of the players talking to each other during the game, and when there has been little incidents, almost saying to each other, look, no tackling, haven't they really? They've been, seems to be a pact between the teams not to be overly strong on the challenge. We have seen one or two, but generally speaking, I think the players have taken this on board and are looking very much to look after each other, but to make sure they're ready for their own particular seasons at the start.
Real still have another friendly to come, and it's against the Norwegian club Vålerenga next weekend before 23rd of August. Big kick-off in Spain against Sporting Gijón. Betis, their first home game. Granada, their second home game. They scored 9 at the Bernabeu last season. Very well covered by Marcelo, and that will be a goal kick.
Now already you see the difference in how Madrid set themselves up, their energy levels, the way they work across the back four are protected. Last night we saw AC Milan completely cut into pieces by this very talented Bayern Munich side, of course, but we're already seeing the respect each team has for each other.
That's a very good pullback by Kesse. Corner will be Rafinha covering, and Real looking very frisky up front. 10 minutes played. End to end,
very athletic. What people do forget at times is that, you know, quality brings itself athleticism as well. That's very much part of the DNF of a top player. He has to be athletic.
Wonderful overhead kick, a little bit of a stretch, almost paid major dividends. Ramos had made his way forward for Real, and Bayern defensively looked somewhat static. In terms of the International Champions Cup, if you found it hard to follow, Real Madrid taking 2 titles in that, the Australian and Chinese legs, and Paris Saint-Germain won the United States swing. What a storming shot! Alaba! Muller's follow through, but what a strike by Alaba. And Keylor Navas did very well to stop that. That moved brilliantly mid-air.
There's a bit of everything here. Alaba with a great strike. Navas saves it. And just look at the belief there. Looking for the pieces. Navas does ever so well to keep it out.
Now the follow through from Philip Lahm, going where many would fear to tread, hitting it wide in the end. The start has been lively at both ends. Marcelo. Forward for Lucas Vazquez. Challenge from Mehdi Benatia, the Moroccan international who came a year ago from Roma for 26 million euros. His foul. Real's free kick. Manuel Neuer back in between the posts in place of Sven Ulreich tonight.
Yeah, chance for one of the Real players to show what they're about. Generally speaking, Ronaldo and Bale will probably take over this situation, so I think one or two might be just wanting to show the manager just exactly what they can do.
It's a different cue this time, but cue Toni Kroos didn't go for it direct. Well, Ramos first went with the head. It ended up being a shot. He was claiming a drag back on him to Felix Breich.
He's always been in those positions, and not only from set pieces. I think in his very younger days, he used to play right back, centre back, but he was the most forward-thinking defender I'd ever seen when he was very young. You couldn't stop him running forward. Now he chooses his moments a lot better, doesn't he? But he's always been a threat in the box as Ramos.
Wasn't sent off last season. 19 of those in his career. That's a good ball headed away by Pepe, who has fallen foul of officialdom quite regularly himself. Just lovely control by Marcelo to get it away. The chase was on for Kesse. Las Palmas boy who missed the end of the season with a torn ACL on the right knee. this is a lot more like a proper occasion compared to last night's semi-final where Bayern had it quite easy. Now it is Pepe who's gone down, and how the cup final or not, there is a little twinge, and they won't want to risk him any further. And not only that, but Jerome Boateng, who hasn't featured a huge amount so far in this game, also receiving a little bit.
I think that last sprint, Boateng, was a big test for him. 2 games, 2 days. I think we forget what's all about with that. This is a blow for...
Nacho's got to come on to replace Pepe, and only 15 minutes played. Drinks break for everyone else. But that's the end of Pepe's cup final at the Allianz Arena, and Nacho will be his replacement.
Well, for me, this is the downside of these tournaments from the players' point of view. 2 games in 2 days. I know a lot's said about, oh, come on, get on with it, lads. You're fit enough to do this, but the way these boys play the game, that last sprint from Boateng was a great example. I watched him, and straight away I thought to myself, oh, he's really tested himself there. He's had a hard game last night. He's ran straight into a situation flat out against another quality player, and that's why you do get these little twists and strains. It's a big test. And at this stage, prior to the season starting, the last thing you want is a full hamstring strain, calf strain. You could miss 4 or 6 weeks at the start of the season with something like that.
But Bayern's first league game will be their 10th match since coming back together. I think they have another friendly to be played midweek immediately after that. I mean, when you were a manager, what was the optimum number of games to tune up?
Again, these tournaments weren't so much in existence. There were tournaments, but there were less of a high nature that these are. These are such high profile. The players are on show, television all over the world watching them. It's still a high profile game, even though they're on and off and there's a lot more flexibility for the managers. It's still physically very demanding for players to play 2 games in 2 days. Once again, you can see the better players tend to be picked. Pepe's picked, Ramos is picked, you know, and so that there, Marcelo's out there again, and Vidal's there for Douglas Costa's there. If you just keep going through the teams, they'll always have a nucleus of 5 or 6 players who seem to play the majority of the games for players. Those lads are really tested.
So Nacho on to replace Pepe, and this one of the most watched pre-season tournaments. International Champions Cup is a beast of itself. Leaving that out, this tournament, as big as it gets, 164 countries are watching this live tonight. Things have moved on a bit from the days of the Makita Trophy. Carvajal. In terms of pre-season competitions, probably the earliest that our older viewers will probably remember might be the Watney Cup, which they played in the early 70s, where it was the top scoring team from each of the 4 divisions in England used to be in it.
Yeah. As I said, there are a lot of differences. As I said, I think we talked about it briefly last night. You know, my final game probably would have been in an ideal situation 7 days before the season started, and I would have wanted to have played my team that I had very much in my thoughts for sort of 60 or 70 minutes of that game, then give them the whole week on that training ground just to fine-tune all the little pieces. But these sort of games, as we've seen Tottenham Hotspur play again today. It was that 4 days before the season starts, so it is different. And a lot is expected of teams with sponsorship now, massive amounts of money coming into the clubs.
It's a clever ball over the top, but it's too far for Vidal. Tottenham involved in the 3rd, 4th playoff earlier. And if they've their head screwed on, they'll be flying back tonight. Terribly far away from the airport here, actually. by Cruz. Marcus Vasquez, who for the last 5 seasons had played for predominantly Real Madrid B, had been with their C team his first season, 2010-2011. Benatia. Cross for Jerome Boateng, who's okay again after that stretch a few minutes ago. They've only lost 1 of their pre-season games on the pitch. That was 2-1 defeat to Augsburg in the semi-final of the Telecom Cup, which was played in Mönchengladbach. They were 45-minute games, and the entire tournament was played off in 1 day. But they have lost penalty shootouts to Borussia Mönchengladbach, Guangzhou Evergrande, and in the Super Cup of the weekend to Wolfsburg. And this Bayern's 3rd game in 5 days. Forward again by Boateng, but couldn't pick Thomas Muller out. Vidal, good vision, getting Douglas Costa away down this left-hand side. The new signing from Shakhtar, and Vidal, and Alaba, and Vidal. Xabi Alonso, Vidal, they're trying to pass Real Madrid to death here. It's a corner.
It's good to see Vidal involved in that type of football for his team. I've said before, no matter who you are or where you've come from, when you play for a team being transferred for a massive amount of money, you really want to make your mark very early. You want the fans to understand what you're all about. I think certainly last night Vidal, Douglas Costa certainly showed what they were worth.
Brilliant cross by Douglas Costa, that was, from the left-hand side as well. Having been played down the right last night, Pep Guardiola using him however he can to see what can be produced by this fine Brazilian who hasn't had a break this year. He was involved last month in the Copa America. He missed in the penalty shootout in the quarter-final against Paraguay, as Brazil exited in the final 8 again. Again, a penalty shootout. Delano's spot kick from 4 years is still travelling. Xabi Alonso will take the corner kick for Bayern. Easily away by Sergio Ramos, who's making a brilliant break upfield, and this is Sergio Ramos on the ball now, and it needed another fine touch. Rafinha anticipated very well. What a break.
He's just done that all his career. Fairness to him, he's calmed down a little bit, but that was just like the very, very young Ramos that we watched play many times as a kid, who was just so enthusiastic about everything about the game of football.
Wide for Vidal, and very well covered for Dani Carvajal. Spent a bit of time in the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen. He was in Spain's original World Cup party of 30, but then was one of the 7 dropped.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with him whenever I've watched him play. You know, no bad players play for Real Madrid, but been, as I've said, very impressed with his overall game. Stage last night in both of these teams' games, both of them were looking very comfortable, weren't they? You can just see watching this tonight how both of them can just about, well, handle each other, can't they? They really have a real respect for each other.
No extra time, but penalties if it's level at the end of the 90. Douglas Costa pulling it back for Muller. Easily cut out by Sergio Ramos. Being led by Cruz. On by Marcelo. Kesse. Got inside the area, but needs support now. It arrived from Isco, found himself surrounded. They'll bring a lot of pace down the wings for Douglas Costa. I think we know that with Bayern Munich. As if they didn't carry enough of a threat. Maybe Benatia. Good ball down the middle from Muller, who couldn't keep his feet. And quite a few within the stadium. I feel there was a very good reason for that. Xabi Alonso is down now. It'll be a free kick for Bayern Munich. But quite a few home supporters feeling they should have had a penalty before that.
Certainly contact, but then probably over-exaggerated afterwards by Muller. I think just watching the game though, just see degrees of tiredness in each of the players. That's where they're just having a little extra stretch here and there after little runs.
They'd fallen down inside the box, but the challenge certainly starting outside. Götze has had his pocket picked.
Once again looking for Vasquez with that pace down the right. Ball not good enough. You just saw him break from a really deep area.
Vasquez with a chance tonight, the Galician, to show what he's all about.
Reminds me a little bit about Theo Walcott. He has a similarity in the way that he moves across the ground. Mobile.
It's fallen inside for Vidal, and it may yet do again. Douglas Costa, big deflection, whipped away by Sergio Ramos. Bayern come ever closer.
Yeah, it's again almost a deflection. Which could have gone in their favour, which started the game for them last night.
Rafinha is on the overlap. Overhit for the goal kick. Wells close control, and Douglas Costa with the strike. Very important block by Dani Carvajal.
It's one of them that could have gone anywhere from here. Keeper under all sorts of pressure. It's Costa knowing that he's just got to beat that first man with the ball. Putting it in the right place, the danger area where any little touch can cause a problem for the home side.
Both these sides already comfortably awaiting the draw for the group stage of the Champions League. Celtic reaching the playoff round tonight, 0-0 away in Baku at the Topik Bakramov Stadium, the ground named after that World Cup linesman from 1966. 0-0 in the night away to Karabakh. Celtic winning 1-0 in aggregate. Astana from Kazakhstan went through. They've beaten HJK Helsinki 4-3 in the night and in aggregate. And CSK Moscow have won 3-2 away at Sparta Prague in the night and 5-4 on aggregate. Those are the three games that have been decided. A few others being played. Among those, Salzburg having their wings clipped at the moment. 3-0 down in the night, 3-2 in aggregate down away to Malmo. Club Brugge 0-0 with Panathinaikos at the moment. The Greek side won 2-1 last week. Steaua Bucharest are 2-1 up in the night, 3-2 in aggregate away. Partizan Belgrade. It's Boateng. First touch of Muller was overstrong. Isco. Will he being the first signing of Carlo Ancelotti? The jury is still out for many as to whether the 30 million that Malaga were paid has been reimbursed yet. Will he be a regular under the new manager?
We all know the competition he's up against. Two the more expensive players who play a similar sort of role to him.
It's a glorious ball for Vidal to find Muller. Here's Xabi Alonso. Vidal getting into position around the penalty spot. The ball has been threaded through so wonderfully. Lam with the tee up, and it's a fine strike, but just pulled wide in the end by Muller. They're having the better chances, Bayern.
Yeah, tidy play, nice piece of pass work here, there and everywhere. And in the end, Muller slices it across, side footer right across through the legs of Ramos. That's the one that normally gives goalkeepers problems. If it goes through a defender's legs, they don't see it till the very last moment. And then Navas himself was probably not going to get that if it had been on target.
Carvajal. Xabi Alonso, good ball forward. This is Muller. Bayern hunting in packs now. Lam. Oh, Lam brought down. I think it's just outside. Ooh. That's what Marcelo's saying. It's what Felix Price is saying as well. And we're going to have a yellow card here as well. Rafinha protesting. He thinks it should just be inside and be a penalty kick.
I mean, Marcelo was just completely sold. Didn't know what to do there. Was very, very late. Marcelo's outside the box. I guess the initial contact must have been just outside the box, but not by much. Not by much at all.
Another step from Muller. And that would have been a penalty kick, but instead a free kick instead for Bayern. It's Alaba with it, against the wall. And the rebound for Xabi Alonso. Best not to dwell on. It was offside anyway.
Big opportunity. Players at this level have got the ability to miss that wall completely. Obviously strikes the ball fantastically well. That sort of opportunity at this sort of game, this sort of stage of the season. I'd love to have seen Douglas Costa have a little shot on it there. Whips the ball in with great pace.
Lost a lot of cohesiveness and danger up front. A real opportunity coming 7 minutes in when Kroos fired just wide. And it's Cheryshev, Russian international, who narrowly missed out on the World Cup. Europa League winner whilst on loan with Sevilla in 2014. He was the one who was nudged. Now trying to nudge his way into the Benitez reckoning.
pretty much his first piece of action tonight as well, isn't he? He's been very, just doing the job for the team more than anything else on that left-hand side. He's the time. Find it unbelievably difficult to break this team on a regular basis at the moment. Oh.
Just as well the net was there. Whatever that was intended to be.
Well, I don't think they get enough practice because, as I said, normally Cristiano Ronaldo or Gareth Bale would just take them. I mean, so it's a bit of an unknown quantity for the rest of the team nowadays.
Carvajal was caught by Xabi Alonso. Now he's going to go in the book. There's a bit of bite in this encounter. It's a yellow card each in the Audi Cup final.
Let's have a look. Well, it's one of them. Gets there first. Carvajal, so any normal situation he's going to get booked. Talked earlier about players talking to each other. You can actually see them talking to each other. No tackling, no tackling. But we've had a couple in this game already that have just reminded each of them what it's all about.
So will this be a slightly better free kick? It's Kroos who's over it, didn't go the direct route. And down now is Mehdi Benatia, so free kick for Bayern instead. Bata Borisov through to the playoff round of the Champions League. They've beaten Videoton of Hungary 1-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate in Borisov. Videoton with the honour once of knocking Manchester United out of Europe. I think it was actually the last game before the European ban. Xabi Alonso. Haven't really been threatened a lot so far defensively of Bayern. Kroos has probably been the biggest danger to his former side. Muller again couldn't get the close control absolutely right. He's sitting out most of last night's semi-final, but coming on towards the end. Arjen Robben again, by the way, even though he's here, won't be involved tonight, sitting it out entirely. Xabi Alonso receiving from Boateng. Vidal, Muller. Muller with the strike. Big deflection. Oh, it's hit the post. Bayern, very unfortunate. But had it gone in, they'd have been very lucky.
Yeah, Muller just given too much time. 25 yards away from goal. It's not very often you see players of that quality not closed down when they're in this area. Decides to have a whack. He's well off target, but well, I think would have been very fortunate rather than anything else had that gone in. Ramos is trying to get away with it. Ramos scrambling across his goal. It's going really wide. It's completely wrong-footed. From Real's point of view, pleased to see that hit the post.
Well, they haven't been the better side by any stretch of the imagination, but Real would have been majorly unfortunate had that gone in. Ridiculous deflection, Keylor Navas, and we saw how good he was at the World Cup last year. Scrambling across goal, he wasn't going to reach it.
If we're looking to, advantage on the game and who's doing better than who, I think both coaches were reasonably satisfied with their teams up to now. Both will be honest enough to know that they weren't going to go out there and win this 3-4, 5-0. There'll certainly be 2 or 3 or 4 up in the first half, I think. Got to be a cagey affair. Certainly not full-blooded at the moment, but both sides showing that they have enough about them to hold on to each other and make it very tight and close. Aim down the middle for Muller.
And again, his control leaving quite a lot to desire. Douglas Costa in a very good position in the middle, but unfindable. Beyond Hesse up front.
I think looking at the game, the pace of the game, it's fairly easy at times, but there's bursts of energy from both sets of players. And of course, taking into consideration last night, I think there could well be a few things changing at half-time. Well, I think such coaches will be looking at players and saying, how are you feeling? If there's any sort of tightness at all, I think we'll see a number of changes. They might have had a game plan, but I think they will have a very more flexible game plan tonight in view of the games that the lads have had recently.
There's a mammoth bench, by the way, for Real Madrid. Isco, latest to pick up a little knock in what's been a very physical game. They've named 13 substitutes of Real. Fabio Coentrão, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, not among those. And there is Lucas Silva, who came at the start of the year from Cruzeiro. Running for David Alaba there. Hesse fouled by Douglas Costa. His old side Shakhtar Donetsk are 1-0 up at the moment against Fenerbahce in the Champions League final qualifying round. 1-0 in aggregate as well. They're having to play in Lvov these days in the west of the country due to the conflict on the border with Russia. And their own stadium, the Donbass Arena, half destroyed, unfortunately, one of the venues for Euro 2012. Kroos will take the free kick. For me, he and Ramos have been the best two for Real so far tonight. He's put a bit of pressure defensively on Dani Carvajal there, with Muller reeling down his neck.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and you look at players who are probably trying to work their way into the side. Casemiro being very quiet tonight. Cheryshev not really done very much at all. Yeah, you know, they've got to really shine in games like this. At times, Carvajal, for me, once again shows how useful he is. She's got Douglas Costa against him on that side, so that's a test for him, but he's handled that reasonably well up tonight.
Danilo and Casemiro both coming in from Porto. 6 players signed. Kiko Casilla, the goalkeeper, coming from Espanyol, but David De Gea still expected to be the main goalkeeping target, and it doesn't really feel as if Real have done much of the transfer market at all yet this summer. Still have a few weeks. Douglas Costa, brilliant turn. Good centre. Somehow wouldn't go in. The strike from Goetze. Muller was prone, and somehow Keylor Navas kept that out. Not that he knew a huge amount about it.
Douglas Costa is just going to, I mean, he's a big name anyway for me in football, but I think this club and this setting is just going to absolutely make him shine right to the top. Brilliant movement, great turn, a fantastic pullback. And he just looks to be giving them something different again now, doesn't he? Watch this for a little spin, turn, absolutely perfect, and doesn't panic, picks out a wonderful pass. Goetze does everything right, but look at that, 4 people on the line protecting the goal. Three outfield players and a goalkeeper. He looks up, picks him out. Goetze tries to pick his spot, keeps his head down, which he's got to do. In the end, it's a decent save, but what a player, this left-side or right-sided player. Well, he'll play anyway under this manager, won't he?
Actually, Keylor Navas did very, very well there as well. He got Muller out of the way, anticipated where the shot was going, had to recalculate Goetze's effort very quickly. And that was a solid shove on Muller. for Navas to get back into position. What a break by Douglas Costa was in the first place. No, he hasn't had a huge amount to do so far, but he'll have to face the corner now. The deflected effort going over the top. And Denis Cheryshev with the loop deflected effort.
Yeah, first little burst into the game from Hesse. Rode a couple of tackles, setting it up for Cheryshev on that left-hand side. And once again, another deflective shot. Well, given on this time.
So it'll be taken by Isco. We'll have 1 added minute at the end of this first half. Well, Shakhtar for years have impressed many in Europe. Now that looked a shove as well, I must say. And Felix Price had a good look at that. And it was Sergio Ramos on the end of it. It will be a corner, but it could have been a lot more. It was Boateng. I think Ramos probably helped himself to it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just that little... Well, I tell you, I don't think he could do a lot about that. Ramos perhaps put it on a little bit.
Isco's corner.
But the contact there, and it was an arm first, wasn't it? That was the problem.
Potentially a good call for a penalty at both ends in the past couple of minutes. It's Isco to send the corner kick in, and there won't be time for Douglas Costa to do anything with the break, and he would have been in. There was nobody between him and the goal apart from keeper Keylor Navas. What a very interesting first half. Douglas Costa, well, with every... and he doesn't have to join the queue for autographs a little later. Sebastian Rode is also on with Lewandowski for the start of this second half. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. And so far, both defences a bit tighter than the security. Quality game so far. Bayern very much with the upper hand. Real looking to start as well as possible. They had a good spell of 2 or 3 minutes right at the start of the game. That is not Benny Wright, but I'm sure he's in the crowd somewhere. We heard from Paul Breitner at half-time as well, enjoying the occasion, certainly thinking the Bayern should be well in front, but they're not, despite all the opportunities that they've been enjoying. By Rafinha. So an extra threat up front with the arrival of Robert Lewandowski. He played around 15 minutes last night. In terms of the strike force, everybody important being given a run out by Pep Guardiola ahead of the start of their cup campaign next weekend away at Nottingham, and then the following weekend they kick off at home to Hamburg. Götze and Lahm, the 2 players withdrawn to allow Rode and Lewandowski in for this second half. Much as you were for Bayern up front. Mario Götze admitting in the run-up to this Audi Cup final that this will be the make-or-break season for him. It's his 3rd campaign in Bayern colours, having been signed from Borussia Dortmund for 37 million, and the consensus really is that he looked a lot better in gold and black than he has done in white, despite lifting 2 titles in a row. Rafinha. captain's armband is now with Manuel Neuer as a result of Lahm being withdrawn.
So been a very scrappy 3 minutes opening of this second half. The side really managing to get hold of the ball, move it around the way they like to do. Again, changes half-time in game. It just takes a second or two, or a moment or two, or a minute or two, or a few minutes even. Down. Moment, both teams having a look around, seeing what's what, seeing what changes the opposition have done. Just making sure that they don't make mistakes rather than anything else.
Stretched by Mendy. Came on at time with Marco Asensio. Tussle between he and the newly arrived Sebastian Rode. Vasquez wins the free kick. Right in front of goal, the challenge by Benatia, who's been booked for that. But now that would be harsh in the league game.
Well, he's got his body there. Get his body there. You used the word won the free kick. I think that's the right saying, to be honest.
Well, it's a foul, it's a free kick, and that's that.
That's it, yeah. It's a free kick because he gets his body there, but for me, that's really the right thing to do as a defender as well. If you're there first, get your body there, protect the ball.
Kroos over the free kick. What a marvellous save by Neuer to deny his former colleague.
You get the feeling he might have known what was coming there, don't you? Neuer read it perfectly well. There's a lot of goalkeepers all over the world that might well have beaten. Just get an idea that Neuer knew exactly what Kroos could do there.
Obviously still colleagues at international level. And there was Kroos with the corner. There's Carvajal. Cut out by Alaba. It's a good free kick.
Yeah, it's a great strike and it's a fantastic save. I mean, his fingertips right in that top corner. Quite a few goalkeepers around the world that just wouldn't have got anywhere near that.
He was a great servant of Bayern Munich for many seasons, was Toni Kroos. Did the League and Cup double 3 times. It would have been 4 times had he not been away on the Bayern Leverkusen in 2010. They did the double. I still remember the very first goal he scored for the club. UEFA Cup winner against Red Star Belgrade, and you and me were working on it back in 2007. How's your memory, Brian?
Too much of a test, that, Will. You're a lot younger than me. Your memory's a lot brighter than mine.
He would have been 17 at the time. That's when he announced himself to the world. Struggle in that game. Bayern, they were behind to Red Star. What a star he's made himself since then. Header won by Benatia, who just seemed to duck out of that challenge a little bit in the end. He is now on a yellow.
I understand you're keeping a record of the players, Will, but the record that you and I did then was...
No, I just remember it.
It's quite... to be honest.
I don't write these things down.
game, isn't it, really? You know, I think we're expecting a little bit second half, as I've said. Settled into it yet. There's Roder on the ball. He did exceptionally well last night, didn't he? He ripped his socks off.
Vidal and Muller keeping it alive. It was a good pull back in the middle as well to try post.
Without doubt, an added danger. The good defence to put up with, because once Lewandowski's in there, he is liable to get on the end of anything. It was a wonderful goal from him as well last night. Muller was teeing him up.
Xabi Alonso will take the corner kick for Bayern, and it's a good deep one. It was a fabulous delivery. Header from Benatia, just needed to be a bit more accurate.
I might feel he could have done better. There's people around him there, of course, but he has got a decent header on it. A bit of a push in the back. Should have hit the target at least.